The German Shepherd collapsed on the hospital floor, rain-soaked and coated in dried mud and blood. For 3 days straight, Titan had refused to move from the icy entrance, his paws raw from scraping against the concrete, his body shivering with exhaustion. "Ma'am, we need to call animal control," the security guard said, reaching for his radio, his voice uneasy. But Nurse Evelyn Harper placed a calm, weathered hand on his arm. "Wait," she whispered. She had spent 40 years in pediatrics, seen every imaginable tragedy, and yet something about this dog stopped her in her tracks. Through the glass doors of the ICU, the rhythmic beeping of monitors, the steady hiss of ventilators, and the faint cries of a fragile 9-month-old baby named Lucas filled the air. Titan's amber eyes never left those doors. What happened next would challenge everything Evelyn thought she knew about medicine, loyalty, and love. But to understand that, you need to know how they arrived here. Lucas's mother, Claire Donovan, had been widowed for just over 5 years when her son stopped breathing. She was 34. But grief and sleepless nights had etched decades onto her face. Her husband, Marcus, had been killed by a reckless driver, a former officer named Julian Reed, drunk and unrepentant. The courtroom sentenced 3 years. 3 years for destroying Claire's world. 7 months after Lucas was born, doctors delivered devastating news. Hypoplastic left heart syndrome. His tiny chest struggled with every beat. His lips remained faintly blue. Claire, working as a waitress at a small diner in Rosewood, earning barely enough to cover bills, faced a medical debt approaching $350,000. Her home had already been foreclosed, her credit maxed, her future uncertain, and then, one freezing January morning, Titan arrived. A large German Shepherd, 4 years old, amber eyes gleaming with intelligence, a white patch on his chest like a beacon. No name, no note beyond a simple message: he needs you. You need him. Despite every warning, Claire let him inside. Titan approached Lucas's bouncer and gently rested his head near the baby's tiny kicking feet. Lucas immediately stopped crying. For the first time in weeks, peace returned to their small home. That should have been Claire's first clue. Titan wasn't just any dog. Over the next 9 months, Lucas survived 3 heart surgeries, each one leaving him weaker but still fighting. Titan never left his side, sleeping under the crib, following Claire from room to room, sensing episodes before any monitor could alert them. Then came September 21st. Claire woke at 6, coffee brewing mechanically as she checked the monitor. Silence. Too much silence. Her heart sank. Lucas wasn't breathing. She dashed to the nursery, shattering a mug in her haste. Blue lips, chest unmoving. Her hands shook violently as she lifted him, pressed her mouth to his tiny nose and mouth, counted compressions aloud. Her voice breaking with each desperate beat. Titan appeared in the doorway, whining, then let out a raw, piercing howl that cut through Claire's panic. On the 4th compression, Lucas gasped, a weak, fragile sound, but enough. She dialed 911 with hands cut by the broken mug. The ambulance arrived in 8 minutes, and Titan had to be pried from Lucas's side, growling until Claire's voice forced him to relent, eyes locked on her son as the paramedics whisked him away. At Rosewood Children's Hospital, Dr. Nathaniel Cole examined Lucas with meticulous care. "His left ventricle function is at 12%. Critical," he said gently. "We've done everything we can, 3 surgeries, every medicine, but his body is shutting down." Claire could barely breathe. Hours, maybe less. Words hung in the room like fog. She had been awake for 3 days, holding her son's fragile body, and now medicine offered no miracles. Outside the ICU, Titan waited, unmoving. 3 hours passed. Security guard Frank approached. "Ma'am, hospital policy, no animals inside. He saved my son's life this morning. He needs to see him," Claire pleaded. Frank shook his head. "Rules are rules." Claire knelt, burying her face in Titan's damp fur. "I know you want to, boy, I know." Titan planted his feet immovable, a solid wall of loyalty. That night, nurses brought him water. Frank offered scraps from the cafeteria, but Titan ignored it all. He only waited, eyes fixed on the ICU doors, refusing to leave. The next morning, Evelyn Harper noticed him. "Lord have mercy," she murmured. "That dog's been here all night." Day 2. Titan drank little, never ate, never left. Day 3, he collapsed, and Evelyn stopped Frank from calling animal control. "Not yet. Wait." Later, a volunteer delivered an envelope to the nurse's station for Claire. From the estate of Julian Reed. She barely noticed it amidst her terror over Lucas. Inside was a handwritten letter explaining everything. Reed, now terminally ill, had sent Titan to Claire. He couldn't ask for forgiveness, but he wanted her to care for the dog that had been trained to protect, to comfort, to save. The letter even included funds for Titan's care, or Lucas's if needed. Claire's hands trembled as she read, the weight of grief, fear, and hope pressing down. She glanced through the ICU doors. Titan was still there, waiting, watching, patient, loyal, and maybe, just maybe, he was their last chance. At the bottom of the envelope was a series of numbers, bank account information for a Portland account. Claire stared at it, eyes wide, rereading the details 3 times as if understanding would make it any easier. Her stomach betrayed her. She staggered to the nearest trash can and vomited. Titan was the dog of the man who had destroyed her life. The man who had killed Marcus, the dog she'd welcomed into her home, allowed to sleep beside her son Lucas for 9 months, the dog that Lucas loved more than anything in the world, the dog that was now outside, weak and starving, waiting for the chance to see him again. She wanted to scream. She wanted to burn the letter. She wanted to hate Titan, to blame him for being a reminder of everything she'd lost. But when she closed her eyes, she saw Lucas's face lighting up the moment Titan entered a room. She remembered the tiny fingers grabbing at Titan's fur, the patient, gentle way Titan lay beside her son, letting him drool and kick without complaint. Titan hadn't chosen his past. He hadn't chosen his first owner. All he knew was love. Claire's tears streamed down her face as she clutched the letter. When Dr. Nathaniel Cole found her, concern etched across his face, he asked softly, "Claire, are you okay?" She handed him the envelope wordlessly, watching his expression shift from confusion to shock, then to a quiet understanding. "Lord have mercy," he whispered. "I don't know what to feel," Claire admitted. "That dog, he's everything to Lucas, but he came from the man who destroyed my life." Nathaniel paused, considering, then said, "Can I tell you something about my son, Ethan?" Claire nodded. Ethan had autism, severe, a boy who struggled to find his place in a world that never slowed down enough to understand him. When he was 12, the hospital had started a therapy dog program. A golden retriever named Bailey had transformed Ethan's world. For the first time in his life, he smiled, not a fleeting grin, but a deep, genuine smile. Hours were spent sitting quietly with Bailey, sharing an unspoken bond. And then the program was cut, budget reasons. 6 months later, Ethan took his own life. He was 15. Claire's hand flew to her mouth. Nathaniel continued, voice cracking, "I couldn't save my own son. But what I learned, healing doesn't always come from where we expect it. Sometimes it comes from the last place we'd look. Connor Reed was a terrible man, but Titan, he's innocent. And right now, he loves your son." Claire glanced down at the envelope again, at the shaky handwriting asking for something Reed didn't deserve. "The money left behind. There's a board meeting in an hour," Nathaniel said. "I'm going to ask them to let Titan into the ICU, just to say goodbye to Lucas. I might get fired for suggesting it, but I won't make the same mistake twice. I won't let policies keep love away from a dying child." Claire's throat tightened. "Thank you. One more thing," Nathaniel added. "That money Reed left, it isn't blood money if you use it to save lives. Think about it." At noon, Claire stood outside the boardroom while 8 people argued over whether a dog could enter the ICU. Voices rose. Policies clashed. Concerns about infection and liability echoed down the hall. At 2 o'clock, the decision came. Nathaniel, exhausted but resolute, emerged. 15 minutes. That's all we get. By 2:30, a veterinary team was ready. They bathed Titan in medical-grade antibacterial solution, carefully sterilizing every inch. Titan remained calm as if he understood. He had been waiting for this moment for 3 days. Claire signed the liability waivers with shaking hands. What did it matter? Lucas's life, his final moments, were all that mattered. At 4, Titan walked down the hospital corridor, Claire's hand resting on his head. His ribs were visible, a testament to 72 hours without food. But the moment he sensed where they were going, purpose returned to his step. The ICU doors opened. Nurses had gathered, some crying, tissues pressed to their faces. Everyone understood the gravity of this moment. Claire stopped at Lucas's crib, peering through the window. Machines beeped and hummed, measuring the slow fight of her son's failing body. The monitor read 42 beats per minute. She knelt beside Titan, whispering, "I don't know if I can forgive where you came from, but my baby loves you, and that's what matters." Titan padded forward carefully, resting his head on the crib's edge. One paw extended toward Lucas's tiny hand. The monitor shifted, 42, 45, 48. Nathaniel gasped. Lucas's eyes fluttered open. The infant's expression, clear and alert, reflected recognition, relief, and trust. He reached for Titan, grasping fur with delicate fingers, his lips curving into a weak but unmistakable smile. Oxygen levels rose, heart rate stabilized. Claire remembered the first moment Titan had touched Lucas's life, when he had curled against her swollen belly months ago, coaxing life into her unborn son's first movements. She remembered the night he had sensed labor before anyone else, refusing to eat, pacing, alerting neighbors to an emergency that might have killed them both. She recalled nights when Lucas cried inconsolably, only to find comfort in Titan's quiet, steady presence. Titan had never forgotten. Now, in this sterile ICU room, Titan did what he had always done. Loved, protected, and healed. Lucas's eyes tracked his movements, his small hand still gripping Titan's fur. Monitors beeped steadily. 55, 58 beats per minute. Nathaniel and the nurses could barely believe it. Claire climbed into the crib, careful, laying herself beside her son with Titan on the other side. "I need to tell you about your daddy," she whispered. "His name was Marcus. He saved lives. He would have loved you so much. He sent Titan to us because he knew we'd need him." Titan's breathing synchronized with Lucas's. Rise and fall. Rise and fall. Lullabies drifted softly from Claire's lips, and for a moment time slowed, but as the afternoon waned, Lucas's energy began to fade. His fingers loosened on Titan's fur. Heart rate dropped. Nathaniel entered quietly. Claire nodded, understanding. Comfort care it would be? Machines switched to support. No more forced breaths. Peace. Lucas's chest rose and fell naturally, Titan at his side. When Lucas exhaled his final breath, he looked at Claire and Titan as if to say, "I understand." "It's okay," Claire whispered through tears. "He's at peace now, boy. He's not hurting anymore." Titan stayed pressed against Lucas, paw still touching his hand, unwilling to leave until Claire gently guided him away. Outside, in the autumn rain, mother and dog grieved together, their bond unbroken, their love enduring. Her son was gone. Claire's phone vibrated relentlessly. 87 missed calls, countless texts from numbers she didn't recognize, social media notifications she barely understood. Her hands shook as she opened it, and then she saw it, a photo Grace had taken in the ICU. Titan's paw resting gently on Lucas's hand, both of them looking at each other in that last peaceful moment. The caption read, "Sometimes angels have 4 legs. This brave boy gave a dying baby one final moment of joy. Rippy Lucas Bennett." By noon, it had been shared 50,000 times. By evening, millions. Numbers meant nothing now. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. News outlets, podcasters, reporters wanting interviews. Claire ignored them. Titan hadn't eaten in 6 days. He lay on Lucas's blanket, the one still scented faintly of baby powder, spitting up, refusing to move. September 26th. By dawn, news vans lined the street. Claire peered through the curtains to see the cameras, lights, and reporters waiting like vultures. She stayed inside. Titan needed water. She needed to survive. But the world demanded her story. Eager to dissect her grief and turn it into content, her neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, spoke to the reporters. Through the sliver of curtain, Claire watched the 70-year-old woman gesture wildly, telling them about the morning Titan had saved Lucas's life, alerting her to call 911. Headlines appeared hours later. Miracle dog gives dying baby final moments of peace. Hospital breaks rules for heartbreaking reunion. Loyal German shepherd, Titan, defies odds. Television segments showed the hospital exterior. Reporters narrating loyalty, love, and the bond between humans and animals. They never mentioned the mounting hospital bills, the foreclosure notice, or the nausea she'd felt reading Connor Reed's letter. Titan still wouldn't eat. On day 6, Claire knelt beside him, tears streaming. "Please, boy, please. I can't lose you too." Titan looked at her with those deep amber eyes, unmoving. September 27th, Nurse Margaret called. "Honey, I need to tell you something." Started a GoFundMe for your hospital bills. Claire's first reaction was fury. How dare she? How dare anyone turn Lucas's death into a fundraiser? But Margaret explained the medical debt, the ignored collections, the lawsuit from the hospital. The goal, $350,000 to cover insurance-denied costs. Within 12 hours, they'd raised $180,000. Within 48, over $1 million. Claire stared at the phone. Money couldn't bring Lucas back. Money couldn't ease her grief. But it could save the house, care for Titan, and buy time to breathe again. September 28th, the bank called. Brought 35% of the donations were fraudulent. Chargebacks reversed $420,000. After fees, Claire received $467,000. Not enough to cover the debt. Not enough to rebuild. The media shifted within hours. Headlines questioned everything. Was the heartwarming dog story a scam? Social media exploded with accusations. People she'd never met called her a con artist, a fraud, even a murderer. Claire read until Titan whimpered beside her. The dog had moved for the first time in a week. She looked into his eyes and stopped reading. She remembered what was real. September 29th, the doorbell rang at 2 p.m. Another reporter. But through the peephole, she saw her mother. Linda Bennett, 64, blonde, immaculate, expensive clothes. The woman who had abandoned her for 15 years. Linda hadn't called when Marcus died, hadn't visited when Lucas was born, hadn't sent flowers to the funeral. "I need to talk to you about Lucas's life insurance," Linda said, cold and clipped. Behind her, a lawyer with paperwork. 7 minutes of accusations and entitlement. Claire's voice barely a whisper. "You weren't there when he lived. You don't get to claim him now. Leave." Linda left, promising legal action. Claire collapsed in the kitchen, shattering dishes against walls. 15 years of abandonment and fresh grief poured out. Titan pressed against her, the first time he'd moved in a week. September 30th. Claire cleaned the wreckage of her home, trying to keep existing. Titan drank water but refused food. The vet warned, if he didn't eat soon, hospitalization would be necessary. A soft knock. Claire hesitated. She peeked and saw a woman. Professional, kind, no camera. "Mrs. Bennett, I'm Claire Bennett. Hospital social worker, Seattle Children's Hospital," she said gently. "I'm sorry to bother you, but I have a request." Claire said nothing. "We have a 6-year-old patient, Emma Carter, stage 4 leukemia. She's not responding to treatment. She saw Titan's photo online. She wants to meet him before she dies." Claire looked at the photo. A small, bald girl, pale but smiling bravely. "I can't," Claire whispered. "I just lost my son. Titan is grieving. We're barely surviving." Claire left her contact info and drove away. Claire held the photo in the doorway, Titan rising to see what was happening. He tilted his head, curious. "Should we help her?" His tail wagged once, twice. The first sign of life since Lucas's death. That night, Claire sat in Lucas's nursery. Titan dropped Daniel's old jacket in her lap. She buried her face in the collar. "Choose love," she whispered. "Okay, I'll try." 2 decisions were made. Call Claire Bennett to help Emma and use Connor Reed's blood money to save Titan's life, turning tragedy into purpose. She didn't know if she could survive it, but she knew Lucas would want her to try. By October 1st, her life was fractured. Mortgage notices, hospital collections, fraud investigations, and media vilification. October 2nd, a knock. Victoria Mason, a wealthy Therapy Animal Foundation owner, offered $50,000 for Titan, enough to delay foreclosure. Enough to breathe. October 5th, Titan vomited violently. Claire rushed him to Dr. Abigail Reed at the emergency vet. Diagnosis: stress-induced gastritis, dehydration, risk of kidney damage. Animals grieve too, how much? Claire asked, voice flat. About $3,500, Dr. Reed said gently. Claire gripped Titan's fur. She couldn't lose him too. He'll need to stay here for 3 days. Claire opened her wallet. $84. That was all she had. I can only pay $80. She whispered. Dr. Reed studied her, really studied her, saw the exhaustion etched into her face, the way she held herself together with nothing but sheer will. "Pay what you can," she said softly. "We'll work it out." Claire slept in her car in the vet clinic parking lot for 2 nights. She couldn't afford gas to drive home, couldn't afford food. Crackers from a vending machine became her meals. She told herself this was temporary, that she had hit rock bottom. Things had to get better. They didn't. October 8th, Dr. Reed called her into the exam room. Titan was physically recovering, but her expression made Claire's stomach drop. "We ran additional tests," Dr. Reed said gently. "Titan has osteosarcoma, bone cancer, early stage. Right front leg," Claire blinked. The words didn't compute. Cancer. Titan had cancer. Treatment options, Dr. Reed continued. Amputation followed by chemotherapy. Cost $30,000 to $50,000. Without treatment, 6 to 12 months. With treatment, possibly 2 to 3 years. Claire laughed, a broken, hysterical sound. "I don't have $30,000. I don't have $3,000. I don't have anything." "I'm sorry," Dr. Reed said, and she meant it. "There's time to decide." "But Claire, this dog fought for your son. Maybe it's time someone fought for him." Claire walked out of the clinic into the gray, cold day. She sat in her old Honda Civic, a 2008 worth maybe $2,000, and pulled out a notebook. She made a list because when your world ends, you make lists. You try to find logic in chaos. Option A, keep Titan, use Connor's money for treatment. Accept help from the man who killed Daniel. Option B, sell Titan to Victoria Mason for $50,000, immediate relief. Betray everything Eli loved. Option C, give Titan to a shelter. Start over. Pretend none of this ever happened. Option D, use Connor's money to start a therapy dog program. Give Titan purpose. Honor Eli's memory. She stared until the words blurred. None of it felt right. Titan scratched at the door. Claire opened it. He stepped down carefully, still weak, but with purpose. He walked toward the road, toward the hospital 17 miles away. He stopped, looked back at her, then at the distant direction of the hospital. "You want to go back?" she whispered. His tail wagged once. That small gesture spoke louder than words. He didn't need her to save him. He needed to save others. That was his purpose. October 10th, Dr. Nathan found her. Someone at the clinic had called, worried. He took one look at Claire. Unwashed, exhausted, living in her car, and drove her to a diner. Eat, he said, pushing a menu across the table. Claire hadn't remembered the last time someone cared for her like that. She ordered soup and tried not to cry when it arrived. Tell me everything, Dr. Nathan said. She told him. Connor's blood money, Titan's cancer, Victoria's offer, the foreclosure, the lawsuit, her mother suing for life insurance money. Every terrible thing since Eli died. Dr. Nathan listened without interrupting. When she finished, he spoke quietly. I blame myself. I thought I should have seen the signs, should have fought harder for the therapy dog program. I almost quit medicine. What kind of doctor can't save his own kid? Claire said nothing, but I realized Jack would have hated that. He'd want me to save other kids, to take grief and guilt and turn it into something good. Connor's money isn't blood money. If you use it to save lives, you turn something evil into something good. I don't know how, she whispered. Start with Titan, Dr. Nathan said. Save him, then let him save others. October 14th, Claire borrowed a phone from the clinic and called the social worker who'd contacted her weeks ago. This is Sarah Thompson, she said. Tell me about Emma. Claire Bennett's surprise was audible. Emma Carter, 6 years old, stage 4 leukemia. She's not responding to treatment. She saw Titan's photo online. She wants to meet him before she dies. Claire closed her eyes, seeing Eli's smile, the way Titan had comforted him. We'll come, she said. But no publicity. This is just a dog visiting a sick child. Nothing more. Agreed, Claire Bennett said immediately. I just need a few days to arrange things. October 15th, Claire walked into the bank with Connor's account info, hands shaking, stomach in knots. Betraying Daniel with every step. Mrs. Thompson, the teller said. This has been waiting for you. Balance, $127,000. Claire remembered Daniel's words. Choose love. Always choose love. She withdrew $35,000 for Titan's treatment. $75,000 to establish Eli's Friends Therapy Dog Foundation. $17,000 for gas, food, basic needs. Money stained with evil being used for good. That night, Claire and Titan checked out of their motel and drove north toward Seattle, toward Emma. Titan sat alert in the passenger seat for the first time since Eli died. Ears perked, head out the window. We're going to help her, Claire whispered. And then as many others as we can for Eli. Titan leaned into her hand. For the first time, real hope filled her chest. 3 hours later, they arrived. Claire Bennett met them at the hospital entrance, nervous but hopeful. Thank you for coming. Emma's been asking about Titan every day. How is she? Claire's expression said it all. Not good. She's in palliative care. Her parents have said their goodbyes. Emma's room was on the 3rd floor, overlooking the city. She lay in bed, pale and bald from chemotherapy, bones showing through her gown. But when Titan walked in, her eyes lit up like Christmas morning. Rocky, she whispered, weak but full of joy. Titan approached carefully, head resting on the edge of her bed, as he had with Eli. Emma reached out with her IV-lined hand. Hi, Titan. I saw your picture. You helped a baby named Eli. Claire's throat tightened. Are you sad? Emma asked Titan, fingers running through his fur. He lost someone he loved very much, Claire said. Emma nodded, solemn. Me too, I lost my hair. And my friend Anna. She died last month. Her parents, John and Rebecca Carter, held hands silently in the corner, tears running. For the first time in weeks, their daughter smiled. Titan stayed for 2 hours. Emma told him about her stuffed animals, her favorite books, her dreams of becoming a veterinarian. When it was time to leave, she asked, Can Titan come back tomorrow? Claire looked at her, at her parents, at the fragile hope in this dying child's eyes. Yes, she said. We'll come back. They returned every day for 9 days. Claire stretched every dollar, staying at a cheap motel nearby. Emma improved, not cured, not recovered, but better. She ate, sat up, and spoke of future dreams. Nurses noticed. Parents noticed. Dr. Wilson, her oncologist, definitely noticed. October 26th, routine blood work came back. White blood cells improving. Cancer markers decreasing. Stage 4 leukemia shouldn't allow this. I don't understand these results, Dr. Wilson said, staring at the screen. This shouldn't be possible. October 30th. A reporter, Michael Grant, recognized Claire in the cafeteria. Mrs. Thompson, Seattle Times, can I ask about Titan? No, Claire said, standing. Using the dog to help terminally ill kids? Amazing story. Our readers would love it. No, she said again, walking away. But by evening, his article was online. 5 million shares. Comments exploded. Angel dog. She's exploiting children. To investigate her. Internet sleuths dug into Claire's history. Connor Hayes' trial. The GoFundMe controversy. Linda's lawsuit. A narrative formed. Opportunist exploiting sick children. Miracle dog owner linked to a convicted killer. Death threats started again. Worse, more violent, more personal. Hospital security increased. Dr. Wilson called Claire to his office. I'm sorry, he said. Administration wants you to stop visiting. I understand, she said quietly. Emma was devastated. Where's Titan? Why isn't he coming? For 3 days, Emma didn't see Titan. For 3 days, she refused to eat. Blood counts dropped. She became lethargic again. Every ounce of improvement vanished as if it had never existed. I want Titan back, Emma told her parents. Please. I want Titan. John and Rebecca Carter went to Dr. Wilson together. We don't care about publicity. We don't care about controversy. Bring them back. Our daughter is dying, and Titan makes her happy. Nothing else matters, Dr. Wilson called Claire. Please come back. Emma needs you. Claire had been hiding in the motel, curtains drawn, ignoring her phone. Titan lay on the bed beside her, depressed, without purpose. They want us back, Claire said softly to him. But if we go, it'll get worse. More reporters, more hate. More people calling us liars and scammers. Titan stood, walked to the door, and looked at her. She understood. He didn't care about reporters or hate or the world. He cared about Emma. November 5th, Claire decided she was done hiding. She called a press conference. Dr. Nathan helped arrange it, convinced the hospital administration this was the right thing to do. 30 reporters showed up. Claire stood at a podium in a hospital conference room, wearing the same clothes she'd had on for 3 days, looking exhausted, furious. Done with everything. My name is Claire Thompson, she began, voice shaking but firm. My son Eli died 4 weeks ago. He was 9 months old. He had a heart condition. Titan was his best friend. Yes, Titan originally belonged to Connor Hayes, the man who killed my husband in a drunk driving accident 5 years ago. Connor gave Titan to me before he died of cancer. I didn't know who Titan was for 9 months. When I found out, I had a choice. Hate him for where he came from or love him for who he is. I chose love because that's what my son would have wanted. She looked directly into the cameras. The GoFundMe fraud wasn't my fault. Scammers stole from people trying to help us. I received less than half of what was raised. And it wasn't enough to cover hospital bills. My mother is suing me for life insurance. I lost my house. I live in my car. My son is dead. So tell me, what exactly am I profiting from? A reporter raised his hand. Mrs. Thompson, are you claiming Titan has healing powers? I'm not claiming anything, Claire said. I'm telling you that children smile when they see him. They feel less scared. They feel loved. Maybe that helps them heal. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not a doctor. Just a mother who lost her son and found a way to make that loss mean something. Another reporter called. And Connor Hayes' money? I used it to treat Titan's cancer and start a foundation for therapy dogs, Claire said. Blood money becomes healing money. That's the choice I made. Do I believe Titan is special? I believe love is special. Titan has more love than most people I've met. That's all I know. The press conference went viral. The narrative shifted again. Some called her a hero. Others still a fraud. Claire stopped reading comments. November 8th, Claire went through Daniel's belongings, boxes she hadn't touched in 5 years. She found his old forest ranger journal. Flipping through notes, she discovered an entry from April 21st, a month before Daniel died. He'd responded to a call about an illegal dogfighting ring in Mount Hood National Forest. He'd rescued a German Shepherd puppy, malnourished, chained to a tree, multiple injuries. He'd taken it to the Multnomah County Animal Shelter. I wish I could keep him, Daniel had written. Allergic, but this pup has something special. Smart eyes. Survivor's eyes. A Polaroid was clipped to the page. A tiny German Shepherd puppy with a distinctive white patch on his chest. Claire stared, then looked at Titan on the motel bed. The same patch, the same eyes. Daniel had saved Titan 5 years ago. The dog that would save Eli's last moments. The dog that Connor Hayes had somehow acquired, trained, and returned. The circle was complete. Claire sat on the floor, sobbing. Deep, wrenching sobs from a place beyond grief. Daniel had been taking care of them all along, even after his death. November 12th, Emma's PET scan results came back. Dr. Wilson called Claire, Emma's cancer. It's in remission, he said, voice full of disbelief. Complete remission. I have no medical explanation. This shouldn't be possible. Scientists requested to study Titan. Claire refused. He's not a lab experiment. He's a friend. November 20th, Eli's Friends Therapy Dog Foundation officially opened at OSU Hospital. Dr. Nathan became medical director. Claire, founder and coordinator. Titan, first certified therapy dog. 3 others in training. The foundation was funded by Connor's money, ongoing donations, and a hospital grant. Claire received a modest salary, $35,000 a year. The hospital provided a small apartment. Not much, but home. Titan worked 3 days a week visiting pediatric patients, resting 4 days for his age and cancer treatment. But the children he visited smiled, laughed, healed. November 30th, Linda Thompson's lawsuit was dropped. Her lawyer withdrew, citing irreconcilable differences. She sent a letter, not an apology. I raised you to be strong. You didn't need me anyway. Claire burned it, watched the ashes swirl down the sink. Some relationships aren't worth saving. December 24th, 2018. First Christmas without Eli. Claire and Titan drove to Riverview Cemetery under gray Portland skies. Light rain fell. She carried a small wreath of white roses and Eli's favorite stuffed dog. The headstone was simple. Eli James Thompson, December 18th. 2018, September 24th, 2019. Love beyond measure. Claire knelt in the wet grass, placed the wreath and stuffed dog. Titan lay beside the stone, head on paws. "Hi, baby," she whispered. "Mama misses you. Every day, every hour. But Titan and I are helping other kids just like you would have wanted. Emma's alive because of you. Because Titan loved you so much, he learned to love others." A single snowflake landed on Titan's nose. Then more, light, delicate, perfect. Claire looked at the gray sky. "Look, Eli, snow for Christmas. Fresh daisies and a card were tucked on the grave." Claire picked it up. "Thank you for sharing, Titan. Emma is alive because of you. Merry Christmas." The Carter family tears fell again, but this time they were mixed with gratitude and purpose. Rocky licked her face. "We're going to be okay," she said, scratching behind his ears. Titan wagged his tail once. Christmas Day. Claire and Titan volunteered at OSU Hospital. 8 children in the pediatric ward. Titan wore a festive red bandana from Nurse Margaret. Faces lit up. One little girl, Maya, 7, with a brain tumor, clapped her hands, Claire remembered. "Santa sent a dog," Maya said. Claire smiled, her first real smile in months. That evening, hospital staff threw a small party. Dr. Nathan, Nurse Margaret, Grace, and a dozen others, Claire's new family. 8 sang off-key carols, toasted with sparkling cider. "This is what Christmas is supposed to be," Margaret said. "Not presents or fancy dinners, but people taking care of each other." Claire looked around. "Thank you, all of you. I don't know what I would have done without you. You'd have done the same for anyone else." Dr. Nathan smiled. "Surviving, fighting, helping others, that's who you are, Claire." The months blurred with motion and purpose. January 20th, Titan underwent surgery to remove the tumor in his right front leg. 6 hours. Claire paced the waiting room, unable to sit, breathe, or think, until Dr. Reed emerged. He did great. "Recovery 6 weeks, margins clean." "We got it all." Claire visited Titan every day, again sleeping in the clinic parking lot. Eventually, Dr. Reed gave her a key. "Sleep in the back office. I'm not letting you freeze in that car." By March, Titan was back to work. Moving slower, limping slightly, but determined. Children didn't care. They only cared that he came. Then COVID-19 hit. Hospitals locked down. Therapy visits suspended. Titan sank into depression, pacing, whining, staring at his vest. "I know," Claire said. "I know you want to help, but we can't go inside." Grace called. Video calls. Not the same, but something. One boy, Tyler 5, with leukemia, asked for Titan on video every day for 4 months. Told him about fears, hopes, his day. Tyler recovered. Parents sent a card. "Thank you for not giving up on him." July 20th. A national animal therapy grant arrived. $250,000. Eli's friends grew to 12 certified therapy dogs. Claire trained volunteers, developed protocols, built a curriculum. Titan became the trainer. October 20th. Emma, now 7 and cancer-free, came to visit. She had an idea. "I want to help too." Emma said, "I want to make cards for sick kids with Titan on them." Her little project became a small business. Emma drew pictures of Titan, clumsy, childish sketches that were perfect because they came straight from the heart. Within 6 months, she was selling them online and at craft fairs. The cards raised $15,000 for Eli's friends. December 23rd. Second Christmas. Sarah visited Eli's grave again, this time with less pain. More peace. She spoke softly to the headstone about the 47 children they'd helped that year, about Emma's recovery, about the foundation growing. "I think you'd be proud of us," she whispered. Titan lay beside her, gray showing at his muzzle, eyes calm. The years blurred after that, each bringing new challenges, new children, new reasons to keep going. Eli's Friends was featured on Good Morning America. Titan became famous as the healing dog. Sarah protected him from overexposure, ensuring his privacy and well-being. Now 7. Titan showed signs of arthritis. He worked fewer hours, but his impact remained. That year, 89 children were helped. A hospital study published in a medical journal showed children visited by therapy dogs recovered 40% faster. Titan was studied specifically. Cortisol levels, blood pressure, immune response, all measured. The results: statistically significant improvements, though the mechanism remained unclear. Sarah read the study and smiled. Some mysteries she thought should stay mysteries. Emma turned 9 and started middle school. She became a volunteer with Eli's Friends. Maya, the little girl who once thought Santa sent Titan, went into remission. Her brain tumor had shrunk so much, doctors called it a miracle. Then came bad news. Titan's cancer returned. A hard lump on his left shoulder, osteosarcoma. The surgery was more complicated this time. Recovery was slower. Titan, now 9, moved like an old man. Careful, stiff, deliberate. Sarah reduced his schedule to 1 day per week, but children still asked for him by name. "Can we see Titan, the original healing dog?" There was something about Titan, the wisdom in his eyes, the calm patience no other therapy dog could match. He had earned his title through suffering, through understanding pain in a way that couldn't be taught. Eli's friends hit a milestone. 500 children helped. The program had expanded to 4 hospitals across Oregon and Washington. 35 certified therapy dogs worked under the foundation's banner. Sarah became a national speaker, traveling to conferences, sharing her story, teaching others how to start similar programs. She always carried photos of Eli, always mentioned his name. It wasn't about her. It was about a baby who lived 9 months and changed the world. That year, Titan officially retired from active therapy work. 10 years old, arthritic, moving slowly but still happy. Occasionally, he visited the hospital for fun, as Sarah called it. Children gathered around him, gentle with this old dog who had given everything. In November, Eli's friends received the National Therapy Dog Lifetime Achievement Award. Sarah accepted on Titan's behalf. Titan sat on stage, dignified and calm, while 1,000 people stood and applauded. Sarah's voice trembled as she spoke. This dog came from darkness. His first owner was a man who destroyed my life. But Titan is pure light. He taught me that love is bigger than hate, that purpose can be found in the deepest grief, and that healing isn't erasing pain, it's transforming it into something that helps others. The audience gave Titan a standing ovation. He wagged his tail. March, 5 years after Eli's death. The 5th anniversary celebration of Eli's friends at OSU Hospital. 75 attendees, staff, volunteers, families. Sarah wore a dress for the first time in years. Titan, 10 and a half, wore his official therapy dog vest one last time. Dr. Nathan spoke first. Gray at 50, gentle as ever. 5 years ago, we broke hospital rules to let a dying baby see his dog. We didn't know if it was right, we just knew it was human. Because of that compassion, 500 children have received comfort and hope. Some lived, some didn't, but all felt loved in their darkest moments. That's what matters. Emma, now 12, stood next, hair thick brown, confidence radiating. Titan saved my life, she said. Not because he's magic or special, but because he taught me that love is stronger than cancer. When I was sick, I wasn't alone anymore. He sat with me, let me cry into his fur. Never left until I was ready. That's what a real friend does. The screen behind them showed a slideshow. Hundreds of children with Titan, bald from chemo, hooked to machines, in wheelchairs. Every single face lighting up at the sight of him. In the center, Eli, tiny, fragile, Titan's paw touching his hand. Sarah spoke last, hands shaking. 5 years ago, I lost everything. My husband, my son, my home. My hope. A dog arrived from the man who destroyed my life. I could have chosen hate, but Eli taught me something in 9 months. Love is always the answer. She looked at Titan, old but bright-eyed. He came from darkness, but he brought light. Eli lived only 9 months, but through Titan, he's touched 500 lives. That's the miracle. Not that Titan heals. We don't know if he does, but that love multiplies. Every child he visits, every family he comforts. That is Eli's legacy, her voice cracked. My son is gone, but his love lives on. Thank you, Titan, for being his voice. Thank you all for believing in this impossible dream, that a dog could change the world. Dr. Nathan returned with a proclamation. March 24th declared Eli Thompson Remembrance Day, and the Oregon governor signed Eli's law, $2 million over 5 years to fund hospital animal therapy programs statewide. Sarah covered her mouth, tears streaming. Emma hugged her. Titan leaned against her legs. The room erupted in applause. Later, in the hospital garden, Titan rested his head on Sarah's lap. The sun set in golden Portland light. She pulled out Eli's worn photo from her wallet. Look who we saw today, Eli, she whispered. All those kids, all those families. You did that, baby. Your 9 months mattered. A white butterfly landed on her shoulder. Sarah smiled. She didn't believe in signs, but she liked to imagine Eli's presence. Titan watched, calm and patient. I'm happy, she whispered. Not because the pain is gone, it isn't, but because I found meaning in it. Thank you, baby. And thank you, Titan, for showing me how. Titan made a soft sighing sound, a contented exhale. The butterfly flew off. In the modest apartment, surrounded by photos, memories, and a new future taking shape, Sarah understood. Healing wasn't being whole again. It was ongoing, endless, but whole in peace. Grief, she realized, was love finding new places to land. And if you let it, that love could heal the world. A knock at the door. A young woman, 22, nervous and hopeful, holding a German Shepherd puppy with the same white chest patch Titan had. Miss Thompson, I'm Jessica Reed. I want to train him. Help children. Would you teach me? Sarah looked at the puppy. Saw Daniel, Eli, Titan's young strength and patience all reflected there. What's his name? She asked. I'd like to call him Eli if that's okay. Sarah's tears blurred her vision, but she smiled. It's perfect. Come in, Titan hobbled over. The puppy licked his gray muzzle. Titan wagged, patient and wise. On the floor, puppy Eli squeaked a toy. Titan observed with calm approval. Sarah taught Jessica therapy dog techniques. Patience and the hardest lesson, holding joy and grief together. Do you know how to do that? Jessica asked. Remember why you started? Sarah said, glancing at the photo of Rocky with baby Eli. Every child deserves to feel loved in their darkest moment. That's it. That's all Titan ever gave, love. The puppy fell asleep in Jessica's lap. Titan laid beside Sarah, head on her feet. Afternoon sunlight warmed the room. Sarah thought of Daniel, Eli, Connor Hayes, and the 500 children whose grief had been transformed into hope. She whispered, "Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Eli. Thank you, Titan. And thank you, everyone who believed a dog could change the world." Outside, a white butterfly landed on the window, lingered, then floated into the spring afternoon. Sarah Thompson finally understood. Grief was love with nowhere to go until it found a place to land. And if you were brave enough, that love could heal the world.